Welcome back to the Spillin' It podcast, your favorite one-stop shop for really anything that you don't need to listen to, but you just probably know us personally and want to enjoy our presence on screen for a couple hours. But yes, once again, welcome back. This is episode number 23. I am Jesse. Alongside me here, wrong side. I'm going on this side of my screen is Ben. Ben, how are you doing this week?
I don't blame you at all for that because back when we used to do it on Zoom, I would always be like, and right next to me, and then like I would watch the podcast when it came out, and I'm like, that's not at all where Jesse is. I'm doing great, man. Busy week, you know, settled back into the regular routine now that we're like 2 weeks out from a wonderful Oregon trip that I talked a little bit about on, I think so, on the pod last week.
Yeah,
I
you did.
talked
You did.
about it to enough people, but just back in the hustle. Today is the biggest day in the city of Pensacola's annual calendar. It is the Blue Angels Air Show down at the beach. So I am here in my home as far as humanly possible. From let me tell you something about the Blue Angels Air Show. Air Show. For those of you who don't know, a lot of people have heard about the Blue Angels. They're like the Navy. They're not combat pilots. They're just like prop pilots. Like they do a bunch of tricks and air shows and such. It's pretty cool. I'm not like this city is serious about the Blue Angels. I like the Blue Angels. They're not the end all be all for me. But so they do two shows in Pensacola. They're based out of Pensacola on the Naval Air Station here in town. But they only do two local shows. One is around, I think, Veterans Day. And then the big one is this one, which is always around July 4th. Usually it's the week after. This is like the latest it's been in forever because they had a different schedule because of the America 250 stuff. So this is the biggest day in our city. People get to the beach at the parking lot in the beach is full by 3 in the morning. I had some friends that left yesterday and got there at midnight. And if you don't get one of the free beach parking spots, you can park at a business, but they will charge you, and I'm not kidding, like $150 to park there.
I believe it.
And hotels are like $600-700. It is a cool day. Cheyenne and I did it once. We camped overnight with her mom and stepdad on the beach, which is like the only time that you can actually do that at Pensacola Beach. So we popped up a tent. I took two Benadryl and I woke up like 6.5 hours later, and then you're on the beach all day. And there's civilian, well, they call them civilian planes, but they're still like private pilots. But there's like all sorts of plane stuff, and it's pretty cool. But it's if you're not going to the show, then you want to be as far as humanly possible from there. So I am comfortable here in my home. Um, Tim says he saw them at Vero Beach. The Blue Angels, they are really cool. I saw them when I was younger, forgot about it entirely until I was getting ready to move here. And I was like, yeah, I've never been to Pensacola. And my mom's like, yes, you have. Like, one time.
Spread
Um,
misinformation.
I was like, all right, mom. Like, thanks for having a better memory than when I was like 12. But yeah, I'm doing great, Jesse. It's the dog days of summer are upon us, but luckily here at the Spillin' It Pod, we're not like an NFL show, though our early episodes may have had you convinced otherwise. Where there's not a we don't have a season right where
No,
we're tied to
we are
content.
the
We
season.
are always going to have content. We've got some great stuff today.
Yeah, absolutely. And hearing you talk about Pensacola reminded me of our time living in downtown Orlando. We just moved there from there a couple months ago, and one of the funniest things was my wife Ashlyn decided that she was going to try to have everyone in the family over, and it was the same day as the Puerto Rican parade that they had in downtown Orlando, and it gridlocks the whole thing. If you are not out by 8:30 9 a.m., you're staying in, or you're walking around. So the first year I got to experience that was really fun because the Magic were in the playoffs. They were playing the Cavaliers. First year Donovan Mitchell was there. So we got to walk by the parade and through the parade crowd to go to a playoff game at the Kia Center. It was super cool. But then, she's like, "Oh yeah, everyone's coming." I'm like, "They're coming here? Here? You 100% sure about
Right now,
that?
today,
Please say psych. Please say psych." All right, like
I
Ben
have to
said,
expose myself really quickly,
yeah, yeah.
Jesse. Speaking of the Orlando Magic, I have a coworker who yesterday was his last day, and so when people leave, sometimes like our staff will like do these little cards or whatever, and we have somebody on our staff that's like really into like the personalized stuff. So he's a big Magic fan. So she made all these little like Magic jersey cutouts, and then you would like wrote your little message on there, and then she made him like a big one with his last name and the number he wore when he played basketball
Yeah.
on there. So he has a Magic cutout that says Richardson 33. And my diseased brain looks at him and is like, was it Jason or Quentin that wore that number with the Magic? And this man is like,
It's
huh?
me.
Jason Richardson was 23. Quentin Richardson did wear 33 for the
Okay. Okay.
Magic. And that's
Respect.
in like 2012 to 2014 because I looked it up. I was like, I don't know that off the top of my head. I want to be clear, folks. So I looked it up. I was like, damn, that was right. And he was like stunned. He was like, I'm amazed you even know who Quentin Richardson is. And I was like, you were talking to a man who one of his three special interests was NBA 2K from like 2011 to 2023. So if he played in the NBA, I know who he is.
Can confirm Ben was a 2K fiend
If
back in
there's
the
not a
day.
better advertisement for our podcast, I don't know what is.
There really isn't. There really isn't. All right, like Ben said, we got a lot of good content, and we should probably get to it at some point. But if you've been around here for any amount of time, you know this is
Probably.
just how things run. But if you're
It's
noticing,
me.
our sound is sounding better. We finally were able to figure out. I got a new setup here. Needed a new computer for work, so went ahead and upgraded the whole thing. And I think the worst of it is behind us, hopefully. So,
Yes. Thank you for
uh,
being patient with us. I got to shout out Jesse. He has been grinding to figure out why we sounded like robots for a month.
well, and it's crazy
So,
because we sound fine on Twitch, but it's the recording one. So did some little recording, some me singing, and some other disturbing things, and we were able to figure it out.
yes, Ashlyn, this is a Caitlin Clark shirt jersey, as it
Yes,
were. I refuse to use the word jersey. I think it's dorky.
not the jersey. All right, Ben, we're gonna get into some buy and sell, kind of a mixed bag of things here. And we're going to start with the U.S. men's soccer team. We're not going to go, I think, as deep into a dive. I think we kind of said what we needed to say during the last podcast about the
For
men's
sure.
team. But really, I just want to know from you, are you buying or selling Coach Pochettino potentially staying on as the U.S. men's national team coach?
I think I'm going to sell it
Okay.
because I think that he I would love, obviously, I think the interest for sure is going to be there from the United States
Yeah.
side. I just feel like the way that the team performed up until they didn't, and just the way his profile rose, and the way that he kind of reintroduced, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, discipline to this program.
Yeah.
I think that there are going to be some European clubs that will come calling, and I just think down, the national U.S. national team's job is not in terms of college football. It's kind of like, to me, like a Boston College job, right?
Yeah.
Where there's some pedigree. Like, it's not a bad job, but if Texas calls, you're gonna go
You're
to
going to
Texas.
Texas, yeah.
And I think so. I think I'm selling him staying, even though I would love for him to. And I think
Mhm.
he probably is interested in it. He seems to have really bought into it and want to continue to build something. But I just think he's going to get an offer he can't refuse.
I think so too. I'm right there with you. It's a strong buy if he wants to come back. I would absolutely buy into
Yes.
him coming back, but I think he is just a little too rich in the pedigree for what he's going to be able to get out of this. That being said, if he does stay, and again, we both want him to stay, but if he
Yes.
were to stay and he turns the program around into something competent, we would build statues of the man around the country. Ashland said,
Probably in like low stakes cities like Cincinnati, but he would get one.
right. Ashland, sell the team, sell the U.S. men's national team is
Sell,
crazy.
sell them off. Call up
Sell
BlackRock, see if they've got an offer for the
Yo,
United States.
everything BlackRock touches dies.
Privatize the USMNT. You heard it here first.
It couldn't be any worse than what's going on, I guess.
The
Bill,
Shell United States men's national team.
our next one, Bill Belichick saying that UNC, the University of North Carolina's football team, is way ahead of where they were a year ago. I don't care what he's saying. I'm selling every single thing that comes out of this man's mouth. He needs to retire. I am so over hearing about him. Get out, go enjoy your retirement. Your legacy is getting ruined every single day that you continue to do things like this. I could not sell harder on him.
I'm going to answer this, and then I'm going to bring up a topic that we just were never going to probably cover because of the format of our podcast, but we just have to talk about briefly. So I'm actually going to buy that he believes that,
I
and I,
buy that he
I actually
believes it.
I actually maybe buy that it's true. And not in like a positive, like UNC is on the right track, but as in like, can it really be behind a year ago? Like, can we really be backwards? Like, I mean, I almost like geothermically, you have to be forward. Like,
It
there's just
couldn't be
no.
further
It,
away.
it, it couldn't really be worse. I think Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches to ever coach football.
Absolutely.
I think that Bill Belichick in the 90s maybe probably could have built a national powerhouse. He has no shot today. I'm sorry. Like he just doesn't. Like I Nick Saban to me is the GOAT. I'm biased obviously. Nick Saban himself
He
was like,
is.
I don't
He
know if I
is.
really want to do this.
Yeah.
So like it's no knock on Bill Belichick. Like
No.
he just doesn't have the college experience. It's a very different setup. And not only that, but all of his assistants that he's hired that have college experience are also learning this new reality for the
Correct.
first time. And so I don't know, just go be a creepy old boyfriend and maybe collect some checks. Honestly, my question is more like, what would it take for them to fire him? Because uh, people
What
are
are you
like,
gonna
oh,
do? What are you gonna
I don't know if he'll get fired, but like colleges will fire anybody,
do? Mhm.
like literally anybody. Recent history of college football is littered with guys that won national championships and then 2 years later were on the street. You
Yep.
know, freaking Ed Orgeron was unemployed like 2 years after winning a national championship. It does not take much. Okay, so the storyline that I touched on, we don't have to spend a lot of time talking about it. We have to mention it. Did you read the uh, article from the ESPN reporter that embedded with the Broncos for like a 2 day period in the playoffs?
No,
Where
no, I didn't.
um, okay, it's honestly it's fascinating, mostly because Sean Payton is like an insane person. So any sort of like unfiltered access to Sean Payton is worth reading because he's a mad genius, truly. Apparently, he kind of pitched Broncos leadership on when Belichick became available. He was like, "Listen, hire Bill Belichick to be the head coach of the Denver Broncos until he wants to retire. I will step back and be the offensive coordinator, and then I will just take the job back once he's done because he wanted Belichick to have a chance to make the set the record for wins. And
Ah,
so he's
okay.
like, let
Okay.
him come here for like 2 years. I'll step back, be the offensive coordinator, and just we'll help Bill get there. Maybe the most absurd. I don't love to use this word on our podcast, but crazy dick riding. I'm sorry, that's just unbelievable. Because Sean Payton, like, and so that coupled with the fact that now he's given up play calling, now I'm like super like my antennas are pointed straight up to the sky. I'm like, are you like almost done? Like,
Is
do you
everything
want to be
okay?
here? Are
Everything
you
all right
good,
at
bro?
home, Sean?
Like, Bill Belichick is what like truly like an unprecedented. If that had happened, we've never seen anything like that.
No, no, no. All right, this third one, I think I know where both of us are going to land on this one, but it's Major League Baseball banning the use of AI in the clubhouse to make in-game decisions. I know for both of us, I could probably speak for that. This is a strong buy into this being the right move. But just the context of this, I don't know if you saw Adam Ottavino, the former MLB pitcher, got on there and said that the Mets were using it to call the next pitch. And like saying like,
Yeah,
oh, ChatGPT is telling us to throw a fastball for the
which is
next
just
one.
the most Mets thing
And,
ever.
like, can you imagine the drone response of that? Be like, hey, champ, I think you should throw a fastball in this next one. A fastball would be a really great like, and just like,
You answer and you're like, hey, so we just served up a 3-run home run, and the AI is like, you're right, and thanks for calling me out. That was the wrong pitch call. Yeah, I agree with you, Jesse. I'm very much buying the banning of the AI. Also, I mean, I feel like we can set aside like I feel like if you're watching this podcast, you understand my thoughts on AI and where I fall on that. So I'm going to set that aside.
yeah,
Strictly from like an operational standpoint, yeah, I'm sorry, you should not be using external resources to make in-game decisions in the clubhouse. Like the Surface tablets on the NFL sideline is one thing, right? If you want to like watch clips from like the last inning or whatever, that's fine to me.
yeah,
Like, like, get some film. You should not be using software to make decisions for you. If you can't make those decisions,
you shouldn't be in charge.
head to Sam's Club. I hear they're hiring. Like I'm sorry, that's embarrassing that you're asking an artificial intelligence. Hey man, we got Juan Soto up at the plate. Um,
What should we do here?
what do we do? You know, like oops. Um, Also, Jesse, we have to scrub the MLB season prediction show from existence. I
It was
can't
so
have
bad.
those Mets takes that those I can't have those Mets takes on
You
the
didn't know
internet.
they'd be using Claude to determine who's
I
coming in from the
literally like
bullpen.
I I feel like Iota. If the Mets were more competent and this wasn't inevitable that they collapsed, then I would owe every Mets fan an apology because it's not just a collapse, but it's like the dumbest shit that they're doing
So
now. And
funny.
I literally doomed them to. They've got fucking Claude. You're right. They've got Claude calling pitches. It's unbelievable.
Oh my goodness. Ash said Sam's
ChatGPT,
Club
the
has the
only
best
AI with
pretzels.
a 4.7 ERA.
Sam's Club has the best pretzels. They do. We actually had some Sam's Club pretzels earlier today. Delicious stuff. All right, next one. The assist from Messi to score the go-ahead goal against England is his best play ever. Are you buying or selling that?
I don't know, man. It's really hard because he's made so many big plays. But I'm gonna soft buy it, and with the caveat that I'm sure recency bias is playing an insane role here, but also like the stakes of you know advancing to a second straight World Cup final in a tournament where you're constantly behind the eight ball, and then just like pulling this magic out of thin air. Like I really truly don't know what to. We'll get to the. I'll save my World Cup final predictions for that segment, but um, just truly like an all time tournament run for Messi, and I feel like it's the cherry on top. Which is, like I think emblematic of just the level of player that he is. That it's not even a goal, right? That we're talking
Right.
about. It's just an assist. But man, he's had some dimes in this tournament. I'm gonna soft buy, knowing that it's probably not true, but I don't know, man. I'm drinking the Kool Aid right now.
I am too. I'm also setting it as a soft buy, and when I wrote this one, I originally was just like, I have to go all in on buying this, but it is messy, right? But at the same time, if you
Right.
take it in the context of the entire play
Mhm.
as well, so a ball had just ricocheted off the post. England is reeling defensively. You can tell they are just shell
Yeah,
shocked at this point. They are exhausted.
they were getting their ass
So
beat.
Messi sprints back, comes across, and with his off foot delivers a just gorgeous cross right to like the perfect height for his guy to put it in. It was remarkable.
It's a nuts assist.
Like I've watched it so many times because I just can't believe that he pulled it off. He's getting double teamed too. Like it's just there's nothing you can do. There was nothing anyone could have done in that situation. So I'm with you.
The amount of times this tournament I'm getting a text that just says "messy" LOL is just truly like if you need a representation of the tournament he's having, just that
Just
sheer
that.
volume.
That's it. All right, our last buy or sell. I cannot participate in this one because I do not have an opinion on this, but I wrote this in
Boy,
specifically
do
for
I!
Ben, and I'm going to just mute my mic. I might head out of the room for a couple minutes and just let him do what he needs to do. But buy or sell is the Odyssey Christopher Nolan's best work. Ben, take it.
Jesse did so. For context, I had started preparing my thoughts for the takeout, and then Jesse sent over the outline, and I'm like, "Oh shit, Jesse, you've seen it! Like, I'm about to call you. Let's talk about it." He's like, "No, I just like knew you needed a platform for this, so thank you, King." I'm gonna try to not spoil the movie insofar as much as you could spoil a story that's been out for thousands of years. But what I mean by that is like I don't want to dive too deep into like specific elements and narrative choices and such because I don't want to like ruin some of the moments of the movie for others. But my man Chrissy Nolan, all right, what a catalog he's got. We've got the Inception, the Dark Knight movies, Interstellar, Oppenheimer. I haven't seen Dunkirk. It's actually one of the ones that I haven't seen, but by all accounts, it's a great movie. Memento, obviously, back in the day. And we've talked a lot on this podcast about Interstellar and how we think it's one of the best movies ever made. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, this movie is so good. Like, for a little bit, I've talked about this on the pod a couple times, but I just grew up. I had a copy of Edith Hamilton's mythology, which is not just about the Odyssey. It's about and not even just about Greek mythology. It's about all sorts of mythology. But man, I used to read that book cover to cover all the time. Like, but the cover literally was like disintegrating, falling off. That's how often I read that. So I've always loved the Odyssey and that story. You know, a narrative about Odysseus, who's presented as this like incredibly smart, driven, like victorious commander who just spends an entire story just getting his ass handed to him over and over and over again, and watching all of his men who he loves and cares so much about, who he led from their home across the sea to fight a war he did not want to fight in, but was required to, and then they're just dropping like flies around him. And ultimately, he's the only one left. And but he's just so driven by his desire to go home. He's tired of war. He's tired of the all the of the world. Like, he's just like, I got my bitch back at the crib, and I got my son. Like, I just want to be home. And truly, like, the movie has been using the tagline "Defy the Gods," which is kind of what he tries to do. Spoiler alert: it never works for anyone. There's a great tweet I love, and it's like, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it's something about like, like, hubris always gets you killed by the gods, but I'm better than those people, maybe even better than the gods. And it's so funny. But so anyway, it's a story that has persisted. It's the second oldest story in the history of our world, really, truly, in terms of like wide scale stories. Only the Bible is kind of out. Honestly, I think it's older than the Bible. Actually, I'm not a theologian, so I'm gonna not try to date these stories, but it's an enduring story, and it is a phenomenal movie. So I tell you all that backstory to tell you, like, I have insanely high expectations because this is one of my favorite stories, and this is one of my favorite directors, and somebody that every time everything he touches is just this transcendent magnum opus work. You're like, how did he do it? This movie has everything. First of all, it has every A-list actor you've ever seen in your life, and every single one of them steps up to the plate and just cranks at least a double. Matt Damon is awesome. There's been a lot of chatter online about Tom Holland, but I thought he was awesome. I thought he brought the right kind of emotional weight and just like boyishness to this role. And so some people are like, he's getting outacted, like he can't hold a candle to some of these. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, he's like in the same room as Anne Hathaway and Matt Damon. Like, first of all, I think that's fine. Like, there are an NBA all stars that are still really good players, even if they're not, LeBron James. But everybody is just so good. I think Anne Hathaway is unbelievable in her screen time, like just truly like. But all these A-list people, Robert Pattinson, amazing. Everybody, so good. And none of it doesn't like take you out of the movie. You're not watching it like, hey, look, that's Edward, or like, hey, look, that's Spider-Man. Like, you might in the back of your head recognize that, right? Like, it's impossible not to, but it doesn't detract from the movie that everybody in this movie is somebody. So the cast is phenomenal. It is maybe the most gorgeous movie I've ever seen. Something I love about Chrissy Nolan, he films on location. So this was not filmed in a box in Atlanta, Georgia. This was filmed in Greece, across the world, un like just truly like the scenery is unbelievable. And like he found like the right beach for each moment, and like everywhere looks visually distinct, but also like it's part of the same world. Um, Very little CGI. I mean, there is CGI, obviously, but like, dude, I learned today that I'm not spoiling this. It's in all the trailers, and we all know that he's in this movie. The Cyclops is practical. There is some CGI involved in this, obviously making him come to life, but they built a Cyclops like animatronic thing that they used and then touched up like just unbelievable. All the story choices are like the narrative beats, the small quiet moments, the payoffs at the end of the movie. There's one in particular. I cannot wait for you to see this movie, Jesse, because I want to talk about it with you, but I'm not going to talk about it here because I would be robbing you and anyone else listening of the moment when it like connects. Um, Unbelievable. The score. I'm pouring honey on my goat, Ludwig Göransson, once again. just out of truly like I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, if I could meet any celebrity, at this point it's probably Ludwig, because I'm like, dude, you just got to tell me how you do it. Like, I just need to know. This man has composed the greatest scores of our time. I saw there was an old like NBA tweet during the Olympics, and it was like hand Bama water at Jason Tatum. And I saw somebody tweet, um, hand Ludwig a water at Hans Zimmer, which was disrespectful as hell, but
So
like
disrespectful, but
good. It is truly like an incredible. The third act of this movie, I'm like, I still like feel like the lightning coursing through my veins watching the third act of this movie, and just oh my god, the way that some of these things are depicted, truly just like incomparable. See it in IMAX. I saw it in IMAX. I don't ever see movies in IMAX because in general I'm like, it's fine. Like I mean, it's a better movie experience, but I don't need to do that every time. I will not see this movie in standard definition until it's on streaming. It unbelievable, like the sound design and the visual spectacle and all of it together in that IMAX theater is just like stunning. It is. I think it's his best movie. I would like to see it. I'm going to be seeing it at least one more time in theaters. Honestly, I probably will see it a third time. I'll just find my way there. I got out of the theater. Cheyenne was not with me because she was at a thing for a coworker, and I texted her. I was like, I'm out of the movie. I'm headed home, and she's like, okay, cool. I'm at so and so's house. And I got out of the theater at like 10:20, and there was a 10:30, and I started U-turning my car to go in to buy another ticket for the 10:30 showing. And then I was like, this is insane. Like I can't do that. Um, I just like don't. I just laughed the whole drive home because I was like, that movie is unbelievable. The only thing that I had a problem with in the movie was like there was a casting choice that I'm like, I feel like we could have done better here. Not because of the performance, but just like so. I mean, the cast is publicly available. None of it is a secret. So I guess I'll talk about this one thing. So Benny Safdie is Agamemnon, and like Agamemnon in this story, in this narrative, is this like near mythical, like imposing general. It's
right,
kind of like the whole Trojan War starts because of the theft of Helen, but really is Agamemnon's kind of like political maneuvering of like, I'm tired of Troy owning all these trade routes.
right.
Speaking of hi Troy, and I want to kick their ass. So and dude, I, people kind of use aura farming tongue in cheek a little bit these days. Dude, nobody has ever looked more menacing since maybe Darth Vader than Agamemnon. Like there are a couple shots in this movie that will live in my brain forever, and one of them is just an Agamemnon moment where I felt like absolute chills down my like entire body. But then and you never see his face in the movie, which was intentional, I think. And like at some point, maybe I'll do a solo podcast where I talk about this movie for like an hour and a half. But um, also, like he takes his helmet off at one point, and you see just the back of his head, and it's like I know that's Benny Safdie, and so like you lose a little bit of aura because like it's not his fault that he looks like that, but like John Bernthal is Menelaus, and leaving the theater, I was almost like I almost kind of wish those two had like swapped
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I feel like John Bernthal could have played this like I'm the baddest motherfucker to ever walk this
He
planet
is. He
better,
just is.
and Benny Safdie could have played like the sniveling like I couldn't keep my wife because I'm insecure, and then
Yeah.
like all these people died because of me, like but not to say that like they both did really well in their roles. Bernthal is awesome as Menelaus. Like he's so good. But anyway, I feel like I've rambled for a very long time now about this movie. It is it is probably going to end up one of my favorite, if not my favorite movie. I don't know. Sinners is a high bar to clear. And I think I need to see it and sit with it for longer before I'm ready to
Right.
like really put it somewhere.
Well,
But
it's hard to compare the two because Sinners had to have the original story as well. So
mhm,
there's that piece of it
yes.
too. I don't know if you could even compare the two, just because there's such different ways of coming together. Whereas, you
Yeah.
know, Christopher Nolan took something that is so beloved and so well known and turned it into a visual spectacle. right? Versus Sinners created this world, this universe, based off of
Hmm.
things that we know and that we have learned about in history, and it's just they're very different. I mean, there's so many things that I have like a co-favorite on just because I'm like they're not the same. They're not the same thing.
And my final thought on the movie, the Odyssey is a story that, like what my friends that I saw it with, we were talking, and one of them was like, I didn't remember the whole story walking into the theater, but as stuff started popping up, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So like, it's a story that's known. Like, not everybody who sits in that theater is gonna know the story. And it's a movie adaptation, so it's not exactly one to one. It's pretty faithful, I will say. It's a pretty faithful adaptation. But the way that Nolan took this like already like packaged story and then used it to make other points about the human experience and, you know mortality and man and the guilt, um it's truly just it was unbelievable. There's a couple scenes, like I said, there's a couple shots and a couple scenes that are all going to just be parked in my brain forever. um One of them is an Agamemnon or a farming scene. Another is like a speech intercut with, like shots of action that Matt Damon gives towards the end of the movie. That, oh my god, like I'm literally like my hair standing up on my arms thinking about it. It was I implore you, anyone listening, go see the Odyssey in IMAX. And if you can't see it in IMAX, just go see it because it's better than not. And just like lean back. It is a 2 hour and 53-minute film.
Hmm.
It does not feel like that. The pacing is unreal because the Odyssey is a crazy story and there's a lot of narratives going on, but it is paced extremely well in my opinion. It feels like you spend the right amount of time with the right things. And now, final thought. Uh, it crazy that this is just like the reality of our world today. The movie's been out officially for like 2 days, and people are already like, "What's Christopher Nolan even do next?" Because like this is like truly like this is the biggest story that you could tell ever. Like the
Yeah,
Odyssey is it. Um, and I would like to nominate a horror movie
yeah,
by Christopher Nolan because
yeah.
there are two in particular like horror type scenes in this movie that I'm like, I would give you any amount of money. I will finance that film to see Christopher Nolan do a whole movie of that because oh my god, it's so good. Literally, like I gotta stop, Jesse, because I'm just gonna keep talking about it. But it's yes, my answer is I'm buying it as his best work.
Okay.
Um, it's a high bar. Interstellar is a
Interstellar. You know
phenomenal.
how I feel about Interstellar.
Yeah, but it's the Odyssey. It's always been the Odyssey.
Okay. All right, let's get back into some of our sports talk here. And really, these next two sections I don't think are going to take very long, but more of just checking in on things. And the big fish right now, if you can believe in the year 2026 for NBA free agency, is still LeBron James. And I pose two questions. Where is he going? Where should he go, though? If it wasn't for any of the money aspect, if it wasn't for any of the he's already ruled this out, this out. I'm just saying, where do you think if we were LeBron, where would we go? So the where is he going? To me, I think he's going home. I think he's going to Cleveland. Um, he's kind of kept the cards close to his chest, but to me, it feels like it just makes the most sense to do one more run with them. That's where I think he's going. Where should he go? This is gonna sound crazy. I think he should either go to Miami or Indiana. Truly, I think he should run it back with the Heat, or he should go to the Pacers. Because if he truly wants to try to win again, the Pacers got the best roster. I think that would fit his skill set and fit, and they need his kind of fit too. I mean, every team needs LeBron James, but they need a
Right.
small forward. Aaron Nesmith is incredible. I love him. But you slide LeBron into that lineup, and things start to get pretty interesting. Do I think he's going to either Indiana or Miami? Absolutely not. No, there is negative chance of it happening. I think he's going to Cleveland, but I'm just thinking if he actually wanted to
Yeah.
win, he'd take a good look at the Pacers.
So I'm going to start with where I think he should go, and then I'll talk about where I think he is going. I agree. I actually agree with you, and I know we're biased in our Pacers belief, but I do actually think the basketball on court fit makes sense for all the reasons you explained, but also I think legacy is very important to LeBron. And if you're
Mhm.
going to choose like one final stop, right, you really have two choices. You can go home or you can go somewhere and be part of it, something that will matter more to that franchise than anywhere else. And so
Mhm.
that's why I think he should go either to Indiana or Minnesota
Minnesota would be a
because I
great one.
think that you both teams have a need for you, but also like like he is always going to be compared to Jordan. No matter what happens the rest of his career, that's just always going to be the one two. Michael Jordan's end of his career, he was just toiling away in Washington with the
Yeah.
Wizards. Nothing really substantial happened there. For LeBron to be able to go somewhere like the Wizards, like there wasn't a lot of history, at least recently, at least not since they were the Wizards. And for LeBron to go to Indiana or to go to Minnesota and deliver them, like for the Pacers, their first NBA championship, also for the Timberwolves as well.
Mhm.
Just something that neither franchise has ever had. To be part of that first, the breakthrough, I think would be just the perfect feather on his cap and the cherry on top of his incredible career. Um, I think you know, before I get to like where he should, where he will go, let me ask you this question, Jesse, because I wrote this down. I asked you to put this on here, although I'm sure you would have put it on here anyway. Let me pose a question to you because I think it's a complicated thing. How if LeBron did choose the Pacers, which I know he's like Tyrese has said that he sent him the laughing crying emojis, which I don't think he's coming to Indy, but I also don't know that like that door is 100% closed. It probably is, but like guys, they'll say whatever. Like they're not going to say like, oh yeah, he's actually whittled it down to these three
Right.
teams. Um, if LeBron came to Indy for 1 year, just played his final season with the Pacers, and we won a title, would you rather win the title like in the next like I don't know like 10 years or so, you don't know when, you don't know how, but we will win a title, or would you or like or keep this core and like try at least, or that we'll have another chance, let's say that, because otherwise it's an easy question.
Yeah.
Would you rather like keep this core and be guaranteed at least another chance to win a title, or would you take LeBron, win the title, and know that forever people will say we couldn't do it until we had LeBron?
If I get the title, I don't care. I don't care
I
what people
agree.
say.
That's how I feel.
I
100%.
truly do not care what people say. Could not care less.
I 100% agree. There was a part of me that was like, I don't know, man. Like the idea of like if we had just won like 2 years ago, right? And out of nowhere, like we did it ourselves. We built this shit from the ground up. Like that's Pacers basketball. That's always been Pacers basketball, and it worked, and it finally worked, and that would have been amazing. But now that we've been so close, I don't care. Anymore. I have always said, even when I didn't like LeBron, which I was just honestly, candidly, I was just young and jealous. I think,
Yeah, that's all it comes down
and
to.
also we owned his bitch ass forever. So, but I think that like whatever it takes. Like I got into this discussion with a somebody recently, and they were like, "Ah, I don't want LeBron." I'm like, "Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
If you
You
care
always do.
about your team, you should want LeBron James to play for your team. Like it's that
Because
easy." So
because here's the thing.
okay,
If narratives are the issue, right, with that, LeBron doesn't come. Again, this is unlikely, but if in that scenario that he comes to the Pacers and they win a title with him, he doesn't come to the Pacers without the Pacers building it for him first,
yeah,
right?
right,
It's not like he was
yes,
forced and traded, right? Like he chose to come here
hmm
based off of what he saw. He sees a team that could win and honestly probably would have had it not
yeah,
been for the Achilles tear. He sees the team, they can win. This team has been built, right? Yeah. Are people going to talk? Sure. Don't care. Going to the parade regardless, and we'll buy a LeBron Pacers jersey. Like,
100%.
could not care less.
Okay, so I agree. Where I think he will go, I also think he's going home to
I think
Cleveland. I
so.
think it just makes a lot of sense.
It'd be cool.
If he doesn't go there, I do think there's a chance he goes to Golden State.
Mhm.
I think ultimately he will choose Cleveland for a variety of reasons, but I think also LeBron. is somebody who's very mindful of how his legacy and how his career is interpreted, and the backlash that he faced after the decision sat with him for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think that unlike Kevin Durant, who was like, you know what, I just want to win the title. I don't really care what other people say, and then famously does kind of care, but like also made the decision. He was like, I want to go win some championships. I'm going to go do
Yep.
that. I don't think LeBron will do that, even though the Warriors now are certainly not the Warriors that Durant joined.
Yeah.
But I think he would view that a little bit as like I'm just like openly like hunting as a mercenary. But I think the allure of the Cavs, are already made the conference finals. They did get embarrassed. They have an extreme need at small forward. He loves Donovan Mitchell.
Hmm.
He's got plenty of help. He doesn't have to go. I think LeBron somewhat enjoyed the role that he ended up filling kind of at the end of the season with the Lakers, where he was kind of the third option. I don't know
Yeah.
that he's like wants to be the third option all the time, but I think Cleveland, where he's not does not have to carry the load, can step up on some nights. On other nights, it's like, you know what, like Mobley and Mitchell can run this for me. Like I'm just gonna kind of hang out. I think, at his age, which does matter, like he has slowed down. I just think it'll be Cleveland. I would be surprised if it was Miami at this point, because I just don't think there's enough beyond Giannis and Bam. I don't think LeBron, Giannis, and Bam is healthy enough or enough without the depth that they no longer have. So I don't think Miami is left. And I don't know. I just feel like it's Cleveland.
Yeah. I agree with
I would
that.
have been interested in Dallas a little bit. I don't think they're close enough
No.
to the title, which I think ultimately was part of that decision. I don't think he's interested in Minnesota, even though I think he should be. And I think there's just too much bad history between LeBron and the Pacers for the Pacers to have been a realistic landing spot,
I
unfortunately.
think so. I think there's
Or at
just,
least LeBron and Indiana fans.
yeah, I think too much has happened between the two sides there. Alrighty, our next topic here. We got a Spider-Man movie coming up, and I know for you it's not going to be any Odyssey, but for me, all Spider-Man movies are the Odyssey to me.
I'm excited about this movie,
I'm
man. I'm
excited.
excited to talk about it.
So just a couple things, expectations for quality and storyline predictions. And to me, this one, just based off of previews and just how I know how the direction is going for this, this does feel like the grittier, more street level movie, as much of a street level movie as having the Hulk in it can be. But
Right.
it just has
The Hulk
that
and Jean Grey.
it's got that grittiness to it that I think we've needed, and I hope we get to live in that street level world for a little bit before we dive straight into like the big bads and things happening along those lines. I hope we do get some of the Peter Parker narrative that I think has been sorely missed in a lot of Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. But more than anything, it just I think it looks gorgeous. So I have high expectations. I really do. Same director as the Shang-Chi movie. And I love that one. So
Daniel Destin Cretton. He does some good action.
he really does. And if you've never seen Shang-Chi, please go see it. It's phenomenal.
Very
It's a
fun film.
very, very fun. It's beautifully made. But for this one, I do appreciate that it sounds like Tom Holland has kind of put his thumb down on the scale a little more of what he wants out of this. He's not really afraid of the studio interference piece anymore. He's like, look, I've been in some good movies. He spent he spent one movie with Christopher Nolan. Was like, yo, we got to
He
take this
literally
back to the
no, but
board.
like there's been reporting that like
Yeah,
after he did the Odyssey, he came back and he's like, all right, guys, like here's what we're gonna do.
yeah, we got to figure this out because
Everything ties back to the Odyssey.
it really does. But I have high expectations, right? I think it's going to be a good film. I just hope that they keep it contained. I hope they keep it contained, much like how Thunderbolts was, where there wasn't a larger overarching feeling to it. It was the story was contained within that story. And I think Marvel over the last several years has been at their best when they've done that. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, prime example of doing so. I think where Ant-Man and the Wasp really, really struggled was because you could tell that this was a stepping stone for whatever was supposed to come next before Jonathan Majors blew up his life, right? So
Correct.
I do hope that it
And
stays
like billions of dollars.
right. I do hope it stays contained as a Spider-Man movie can be, but it looks like it's going to be great.
yeah, so here's where I sit with this movie. I am very optimistic about it. I think that I'm really I I thought No Way Home was a great movie. I think it was a little fan servicey,
Oh yeah,
and it was still a great movie. And I
I
think
ate
that
it
there was
up.
a
I
good
don't even.
right, and I did too. But I do think like part of it was like when that was the last Tom Holland movie. I'm like, man, this last Tom Holland movie isn't even about Tom Holland Spider Man
Right.
like at all. Um, and you know it was, but I think that it was just too it suffered a lot from like what you were talking about. Like it was too like there were too many like threads from other things pulling in, and it was all set. It had to fit in this multiverse story, and I think it was just too much going on. I am very excited for this movie. All we want is a street level Spider-Man, and I think we're gonna get street level in the sense that this is going to be like a New York City story, which is good for me. I It seems very comic booky because you
Yes.
have like way too many characters, and I'm fine in a movie like this. I don't need 10 minutes of screen time for every one of these like villain because there's like 9 villains that are like have been reported to be in
Yeah.
this movie, and some of them are just like like grunts, and I'm sure there's going to be an opening scene where he knocks out like four villains that are working together or whatever, and that's their role in the movie, which is fine. Like
And that's fine. That's
when the
real.
I like when the movie feels lived in, when the superhero feels like he's doing stuff outside of like these big things. Like one of the things I think that Age of Ultron struggled from a little bit was the Avengers. It was almost kind of implied that like they'd been like it was talked about they'd been hunting like all these Hydra forces or whatever. But it was like, do you guys? Is this like the second time you guys have ever done anything ever? Like,
Right.
like you're and somebody like Spider Man that you're gonna sell me as like, the local hero that's like busy. Like, I need to feel like stuff happens that I don't see on the movie.
Exactly.
And I feel like we're gonna get there. I'm not I don't know. I need to see the Hulk storyline before I am ready to like buy it as like something I needed in this movie. Marvel's just obsessed with like shoving the Hulk into everything else and like Hulk characters and storylines, and so like I'm a little wary about that.
Hmm.
I'm excited for the Punisher. I hope it's a smaller role than larger role because I'm also kind of over the Hulk in the MCU, Ashlyn, because I think they just like painted themselves into a narrative corner and they don't know what to do with him. And now we've got this weird like Banner Hulk hybrid and not like the actual Hulk. It's actually crazy if you think about it.
Yeah.
Um, my primary concern with this movie is the Jean Grey of it all. And I'm
Right.
sorry, I don't give a shit what Marvel wants to try to sell me. Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. I'm
That's
sorry.
what
Like
she is.
that's just
Yeah.
like that's who she is. I really don't like the idea of using the Spider-Man movie to backdoor pilot the X-Men. It's annoying to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Again, I like Daniel Dustin Cretton. I thought his Shang-Chi was great. And I'm gonna trust because there hasn't been a bad Spider-Man movie in a while. Looking at you, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Sorry,
Get
Jesse.
out of here.
Um,
Get out of here.
there hasn't been a bad Spider-Man movie in a while, so I'm willing to give them a benefit of the doubt. But
There's
I
never
want
been
it
a
to
bad
feel
one.
lived in, but I don't want it to feel too overstuffed with like serving all these plot lines. But I am super optimistic about anything with the hand is always good. I love the like a lot of the trailers. There's a trailer in front of the Odyssey where it was like footage from the first three movies and then like footage from this movie, and it was a great trailer. I'm sure it was put out like online and I just missed it because I've been living
I
life.
haven't seen it, and
But
I'm normally pretty locked into that.
it's really good. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But I was ready to like. I was like, hell yeah, Spider Man's coming. I love these movies. I'm very excited for it. We'll see. I don't know. It feels like they've been teasing that they're going to adapt the other storyline where Spider Man kind of like starts evolving into like an actual spider a little bit. Like it seems like they're doing a stripped down version of that. Maybe I'm really nervous about too many plot lines and trying to do too much. I just want like a movie where he's like kicking ass and there's lots of characters, but not too many characters. Yeah, that's hot. Let's put that away till after the pod. But no, I think it'll be good. I'm excited for it. Tombstone in live action also always a win.
Absolutely.
So
That's what I want. I want more of the Goonie guys, from Even if it's just for a little bit. You see him stopping a robbery of some sort. You see him stopping from destroying somebody. That's the street level that we're talking about, right? Yes. Is there going to be a big bad? But we'll see. Ashlyn said, "I'm actually so ready for him to move on from Ned and MJ."
He
Well,
ain't gonna be doing that. I got bad news for you, kiddo.
if they got
I got bad
Zendaya in
news
the
for
back
you.
pocket, she's gonna show up.
Yeah. Did you see Zendaya's I don't watch this because I don't really like Jimmy Fallon, but did you see her Jimmy Fallon appearance recently talking about the Odyssey? And she was talking about when Christopher Nolan called Tom to be in the Odyssey, and he like went and did like he read the script. They read it together, obviously, because they were sharing it, and then he went and like met with them or whatever, and called her and or came back, and he was like, "You should read the script again." And she was like, "We read it last night," and he's like, "No, you should read it again and really be thinking about Athena." And he was the one that got to tell her, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, he wants you to be Athena in this movie." It was super cool.
It's so cool. I love that. I also heard one where they finished a scene and Nolan told Zendaya that she did perfect in that scene. He's like, "Where's my perfect?" It's like I was chasing that for the rest of the time. Tim says that Spider Noir is pretty good on Amazon Prime, the new one with.
Yeah, I had
Uh,
it downloaded for the Oregon flight, and then I ended up watching Avatar 2 and 3 instead.
I might dive into
But
it
I definitely
tomorrow.
will be checking that out. It
That'd
looks
be
really good. I'm gonna watch it in black and white.
Yeah, we're staying home right now with the puppy getting his neutering done, so not much going out happening for us over the next week or so, but he's doing okay. He's doing okay. Alrighty. Um, so yeah, I think we covered everything we needed to with Spider-Man. So moving on into the playlist game. I'll go ahead and go first this week, and the phrase that I received from Ben was Kentucky Fried Chick anthems. So I had a lot of fun going through my girl power and finding some solid female jams and some empowerment. So with that, I got 10 songs here from some of my favorite female artists. And we're gonna start off with "Style" by Taylor Swift. 1989
Perfect pop song.
is my favorite album of hers. It's the only one I have on vinyl from her, but it's just it's a great song. Great way to start this one off. Then "Hot to Go" by Chapel Roan, who has really kind of been the female empowerment goat lately. She is just a ton of fun. Then Sabrina Carpenter. The easy pick here for Sabrina would be to use "Taste," but I'm actually gonna go with "Good
Mm-hmm.
Graces," which is my favorite song off of Short and Sweets. Love that one. We're gonna throw it back a little bit to our college days and go "River" by Bishop Briggs. Ton of power in her voice. Then we're gonna go with another Marvel actress, Haley Steinfeld with "Love Myself." Then "Stateside" by Pink Panthers and Zara Larson.
Of course.
"Uh-Oh" by Tate McRae. "Ultraviolence" by
Wait, I'm
Lana Del
sorry.
Rey.
Which song by Tate McRae?
"Uh-Oh."
Okay, okay.
"Ultraviolence" by Lana Del Rey. "Gasoline" by Britney Spears. And "Bloodline" by Ariana Grande.
That's a good playlist, Jesse. That's a damn good playlist. Okay, that was fun. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm trying to check something. Yes, okay. All right. So the phrase that I got from Jesse this week was cyclospora. How about check out this aura? I have I have to admit, I actually really had. I'm usually extremely plugged in with world news. I somehow missed the cyclospora stuff until the other day, and my employee had brought her lunch, and I had left the office to go pick up my lunch. I went to like Jimmy John's or something, and she Teams sent me a message on Teams like, okay, I brought a salad, but now I'm reading all this cyclospora stuff, and I'm getting or this virus stuff, and I'm getting really freaked out. So I'm going to Subway instead. And then she copied the same message and texted it to me like 3 minutes later, and I was giving her a hard time, like, girl, like I saw that, right? Like it's okay. Like also like you don't have to send me two messages. And then I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she sent me like an article, and I was reading about it, and I was like, I like kind of it registered like I was like I think I had heard about this, but I just like tuned out, I guess. And then it got like a lot more like widespread. And then like the next day, Cheyenne was talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I just like did a lot of reading about this yesterday because I like was checked out. Um, all right, so Cyclospora, how about check out this aura? My first song, so I went with like song. I don't aura is kind of hard to define, so I just went with like songs that I don't know that I really can justify how they just like felt like they fit on this playlist. So the first one is Aston Martin Music by Rick Ross.
I see the vision on that actually.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The second one was Pray for Love by Travis Scott
Oh yeah,
featuring The Weeknd.
yeah, yeah.
Um, then I have Mad City by Kendrick
Mhm.
Lamar. I have Dangerous by Haley Steinfeld from the Sinners movie.
Nice.
So I laughed because we both had Haley Steinfeld, and then I also laughed because I also have Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey. It's just like I was like, which Lana song has a lot of aura that fits the vibe I'm curating here? I was like,
Yes,
Ultraviolence. So I thought that's hilarious. We had the same
that's
Lana
so
song.
good.
I have Party for You by Charlie XCX. We Still Don't Trust You by Future and Metro Boomin
That is an
featuring The
aura
Weeknd.
song if I've ever heard one.
I also then had Timeless by The
Oh
Weeknd
yeah.
featuring Playboy Cardi. A Tale of Two Cities, J. Cole.
Mhm.
AF1's Chelsea Cutler. If We Being Real by Yeet, which I needed a Yeet song because he's behind like 40% of all TikTok edits that you've ever seen with Aura. Um, Candy Shop by 50 Cent.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's something about the menace and the beat that
It
did it for
is.
me. And then Ray Shremmerd's Black Beatles.
I love that song. All
It's just
right.
it's a
Here's the crazy thing. Like, I can't verbalize it. I can't articulate it, but you hit exactly what I was like expecting on that album or that playlist. So very well done. Very well done.
happy to serve King.
Alrighty, we got a couple fun games. We got one that's tied to a previous topic, and then we got just a completely random one that I thought off the dome here, and
I love it. Yeah,
truly
it's fun.
diseased brain behavior for me coming up. So we're gonna do a draft for both of these, and I will give you the first pick for the first one. And this is the worst landing spots for LeBron. Now, supposed to be satirical in this sense. So I'm interested to see where you have as the worst spots for LeBron James to go. So your first pick, go ahead.
I feel like there's not a shot that any of my five answers are going to be the same as your five answers
Likewise.
on any on both of our games. So I'm
Yes.
really curious to see if that holds true. Okay, so first, I did not expect to have the first pick. So I was gonna do this whole bit where my first pick was gonna be the Washington Wizards, and then the rest of my answers were gonna be just what they are. Um, but I'm gonna skip that because you were supposed to tee me up second. So I'm gonna start with the Party Animals, the team that
Oh yeah.
consistently plays the Savannah Bananas
Ashland's a
because
huge Party Animals fan.
I do not enjoy this. I do not care for the Savannah Bananas, but I think the idea of LeBron being like on the Washington Generals to the Savannah, like standing on the other side, being like, I'm like the best athlete on this field, and I'm watching this like insurance salesman from Idaho sing some Alex Warren on the mound after two tapping my teammate. I just think that's really funny. And also, yeah, his wife's name is Savannah, so he's going up against
Oh,
the
I see it.
Savannah Bananas every week. You know, like I thought it was funny.
I see it. All right. A terrible landing spot for LeBron for me would be the IHC Apes of the Mongolian Basketball League, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Tuli Bata, their 24-year-old small forward, has got that position locked down. I know LeBron's
It's a
kind of a
top damage.
positionless guy, but if he's gonna play, he needs to play his natural position for his last couple seasons. So obviously he can't go there.
He's got a lot of beef for the Mongolian league. You know, Mongolian beef is delicious, but not great on a basketball court.
All
All
right, your
right,
second pick.
my second pick is the Miami 305 of the Big Three Basketball League. Specifically because it would feel like settling for LeBron to be in Miami, but not with the big boys, and also because Lance Stevenson plays on that unit.
All right,
And
don't
I
blame me
feel
then.
like that's not a good vibe. You know, like he wants to aid like one final like hurrah, and I don't think he's gonna have the send off he wants if he's hooping with Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, I don't think so. Second worst landing spot I think for him would be being the new jockey for the horse Chief Wallaby, who got fourth place at this year's Kentucky Derby. He's just too tall, just too tall.
Yeah, honestly, it would be uncomfortable for both him and Chief. He doesn't deserve, he didn't deserve that. He spent his whole career building. Doesn't deserve that.
No.
All right, that's a great one. I have chosen for my third selection playing quarterback at Texas Tech University. I just think the rest of the roster is ready. They spent a lot of money, and they certainly have the budget for LeBron in his final season. But I just think dipping your toe into the Brennan Sorsby quagmire, I'm just not so sure about that.
No.
I have some
He
concern, a
doesn't need
little
to
bit
deal
of
with
concern
that.
still. I have a little bit of concern still about the Texas Tech running game, and I'm just not sure at his age that like the line should be good, but like I don't know, the Big 12's got some beefy edge rushers. I don't know that he wants to take those kind of hits
Yeah, you got
at this
Sincere
stage in his
Edwards
career.
coming through the middle there for the UCF Knights. I don't think LeBron needs to be dealing with that. All right. My
100%.
third pick. I just don't. I don't think it would work here. But the new blackjack dealer at the Blue Chip Casino in New Buffalo, Michigan. I know LeBron's known for dishing out. And he's one of the best passers the game's ever seen. But I just don't think his skills are going to translate to the card table very well. And I just don't think he's going to perform at the level we were expecting.
Yeah, it's interesting, because at first I did consider this as well. I thought about this as not a great landing spot, but I don't know. I couldn't decide. You always hear about how he's deals up his teammates, and I just wasn't sure if maybe that was better than I was thinking. But I think you've swayed me back to it's a bad landing spot.
Yeah, I think so.
My fourth choice is serving on the brisket team at the Gulf Beach Expressway Buckies. I just, LeBron is great on the boards.
He is.
Is he great getting fresh brisket on the boards?
I don't think so.
That's a different. It's a different context. He's looking for something a little easier, and it's one of the most crowded Buckies in the nation.
Yeah.
I don't know that level of intensity is what he's looking for night in and night out. Load management is a lot harder when you're working at a full service gas station than it
Yeah.
is when you're in the National Basketball Association. I don't know if his body is built for those brisket doubles.
I think maybe after the first time he left Cleveland, decision era, I think that would have been a good time. But at this point, I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, pick number four for me. Production assistant on Wes Anderson's new film. And more than anything, I don't think he needs the industry connections. I think he's kind of beyond that point in his career. Not that anyone's not, good enough to go in and start doing PA work, but at this point, I think he's fairly recognizable beyond
Mhm.
that scope. So I think, he could probably work something else.
It's kind of one of those where you get a resume and you're like, but why are you applying for the assistant position, right? Like I feel like you're overqualified for this, so then
Yeah.
there's a red flag elsewhere. It's not a good fit. I agree.
Yeah. And your
All right,
last
my
one?
final selection is the Kingdom of Ithaca, late Bronze Age. LeBron with his size, strength, speed would have been great in Troy, but every single one of those men died. And I don't know if in the twilight of his career, LeBron is looking to die on a foreign shore, fighting such a petty war. I feel like he would have been better served maybe in the Silver Age, helping Ithaca rebuild after the Sea People. But I don't know. He as able bodied as he is, and with the capacity and the workload that he can still deliver, I think he would have immediately been selected for the Trojan War, and I think he would have been a tough loss for Odysseus. At the podium, he'd be answering a lot of tough questions about that one.
Absolutely. And I should have seen that coming. I really should have seen that. All right, and my last one, train conductor for the Walt Disney World Railroad. Well, I have no doubt he would have a wonderful time. The voiceover is actually pre-recorded, so he won't be able to add his own spin and experience to the ride. And
Yeah,
it just becomes more driving for him at that point without him being able to show off his whimsy and all the things that go into him being LeBron.
he's more of a cog in the machine at that point.
Yeah,
Counterpoint though, what would be a good fit for him? Drive the bright line, baby. You've got
yeah.
all that rage repressed after those years of NBA court. Just drive the bright line. I
Um,
promise you'll get to exact some revenge on probably some people that heckled you at different stops.
from the folks of Miami.
Yeah. If you didn't like how that one ended, I got a
I
job for
got a
you.
chance for you. Speaking of Walt Disney World, Ben, that takes us into our next game here. And alrighty, folks, we are back. We almost made it through an episode without complete and utter disaster. Anyway, as we were talking about LeBron being the train conductor for the Walt Disney World Railroad, I'd set myself up with a beautiful, beautiful segue here that got completely
Yeah,
undermined,
I didn't hear it.
and now it kind of a moot point. But anyway, speaking of Walt Disney World, our next game is actually about Walt Disney World here, and if you've never been able to go to any of the shows at night, especially the fireworks show, a lot of fun. But with that being said, Disney World will sometimes send Tinkerbell across a zip line during their nighttime show. And I sat there and I thought to myself, I'm like, who else should we send on a zip line going from the castle towards Tomorrowland? Who would be some good Disney characters to send that way? So Ben got the first pick in the last one, so I'll go ahead and take the first pick for this one. And for my first pick, give me all the Country Bear Jamboree Bears.
Ah, that's a good one.
Just one after the other with them playing, just every single one, just all the way across the zip line.
That's a great selection. Um, Give me, I thought I could maybe save this pick. I really did, but now I'm nervous, so I got to make sure that I get in there. Give me Mama Coco.
Oh, that's a great pick.
Just give me Mama Coco flying across the zip line. I think she just is going to bring the right spunk and
We would
energy
remember her.
to the festivities.
I like that. I like that. My second pick for round two, give me Sunny Eclipse, the absolute legend that sings in Cosmic Ray, Starlight Cafe, the animatronic little alien guy. Give me Sunny Eclipse running across the park.
Okay, Sunny Eclipse is a good one. I'll give you that one. It's not as good as my next selection though, which I can't believe he's still on the board. But give me Doc Hudson. You know, let's properly celebrate a legend of the open road and of racing with a nice little like like across the heads of park goers.
I mean, brother won 3 piston cups. What else do you?
He won 3 piston cups, and I don't feel like he's gotten his flowers for it. So let's strap him to some rigging and let him go ham.
I love it. Rest in peace, Paul Newman. All right, my third one. Give me the baseball bat wielding dresser from Beauty and the Beast. If you see
Oh,
towards the end of that film,
so good.
if you see towards the end of that film when all the villagers are coming in and Gaston's gonna go try to kill Beast, right? If you look over, there is a dresser who just sitting there, baseball bat, like he has been ready for this. He looks like Jordan Walker out there in the home run derby, about ready to just mess up some villagers.
It's a great selection. All right, my third pick. Give me Emperor Zurg.
Okay.
Let me get my
Okay.
man. Let me get my man some more. I feel like his Q score is a little low for what I'd like. Let's get him some more recognition for his efforts in conquering the cosmos. Give me Emperor Zurg for sure.
Okay. My fourth pick. You're gonna have to squint for this one. It's gonna be a little hard to see. Give me Jiminy Cricket coming across that.
Yeah, it's a good
I don't know
selection.
if it's going to be noticed by the vast majority of people. Apparently, I've misgendered the dresser from Beauty and the Beast. Sorry, she's a woman.
It's
Um,
crazy. The amount of work that we put into some of these to misgender the dresser is crazy.
but yeah, you might have to squint a little bit to look at Jiminy Cricket, but if you see him, it would be worth it.
Okay, that's a good one. My fourth selection. I need to verify real quick. I'm pretty sure. Um, I looked this up earlier. I just want to confirm before I make the selection that this is a Disney character. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Give me Meredith Blake as portrayed by Elaine Hendricks in 1998's The Parent Trap. I think she had a great turn on Dancing with the Stars, but we just need more Elaine Hendricks. So I
That's
would like
fair.
her,
That's fair. She
but
was
I
actually not
specifically
a
as Meredith
villain.
Blake.
She was not a villain there. Those kids were annoying.
No, she was actually not. She was terrorized.
Um, I have a feeling we're going to do an honorable mention anyway, so I'll go ahead for my fifth pick. Give me Henry J. Waternoose, the CEO of Monsters Incorporated, going across the zip line.
Good one.
Absolute nightmare of a character, but I think he'd look awesome going across with all them legs.
I agree. I can't believe I was playing kind of a cautious game here. I can't believe I'm getting this guy right here at pick 10. Give me Thanos, man. Let's
Yes.
strap him up. Let him soar. All he wants to do is be free. Give
I
me
feel like it would
Thanos.
save a lot of people doing it that way if he just understood the whimsy of the zip line.
Well, and also like with some of these characters, right? Like they're like Doc Hudson, for example. He's kind of weirdly proportioned. Like,
Yeah.
how does it work logistically? But Thanos on the zip line, perfectly balanced,
As all things should be.
as all things should be. Jesse.
All right, my one honorable mention that I have couldn't get out of here without saying that. Give me Weibo from Flubber, the little robot, little round
Mm.
yellow robot guy. Give me
Mm.
Weibo.
It's a good one. I had one, two, three, four, five, six honorable mentions, and then I was like, there are 10 double selections, and he's not gonna have a single one of mine.
All right, hit me
So,
with them all.
all right, one of the well, actually, I think it's five because I looked one of these up, um, and he is not a Disney character. So I'm gonna get out of the way. The Night of the Museum movies are on Disney Plus, but the T Rex skeleton does
Mm,
not count as a Disney character because
I
it
do
was not
like it though.
actually originally a Disney movie. Um, Mrs. Potts was my first honorable mention
Excellent
from
choice.
Beauty and the Beast. I had Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, they gotta
These
go
were two of
together.
my first answers before I started taking a different path with these answers. Mama Coco was next. Hades, I think would
Yep.
be fun.
Yeah.
Um,
You can light up the night
Especially
sky.
if he screams the whole way. Um, Baloo,
Okay.
which similar to the Country Bear Jamboree. Um,
Logistically tough, engineering wise would be tough, but I see it.
and then my final one was Payakan, who is a Tolkien from Avatar: The Way of Water. They're like big
Incredible.
whales.
Incredibly deep cut. All right, well that's it that we have for our games. We got the takeout now. I got actually three things that I want to talk about. For this, how many do you have?
I think I have one. So
Okay.
you go first.
First one I want to talk about. Shout out to Jordan Walker. I gave a little shout out to him during this last one, and Jordan Walker, if you didn't know, was the first St. Louis Cardinal ever to win the home run derby, which is kind of hard to believe for a franchise that has the kind of history that the Cardinals do. But more than anything, I want to talk about him specifically. A lot of people wrote him off, and I'm going to be honest, kind of including me. I was holding out hope, and I knew this year was going to be a rebuilding year, so I was like, you might as well let him play. We're going to suck anyway. Just let the guy play and see what happens. And I'm so happy that the Cardinals haven't given up on him being a first time All Star. OPS near 900 for the first time in his career. Has already hit more home runs this season than he has in all of his other seasons combined. Just a really cool story, but for him to go into Philly and getting booed by the crowd just because he wasn't Kyle Schwarber. It was really fun. It was really fun, and also shout out to his family being awesome. Um, both of his parents graduated from Ivy League schools, and Dad was hilarious during the post game press conference interview thing that they were doing with them. But really warms my heart. Since you have one, I'll go ahead and do my second one too.
I actually have two,
Oh, go
Jesse.
ahead.
So I'm sorry, I
No,
remembered the
do
other
it.
one
Do
that
it.
I was
Do
thinking of.
your thing.
So my first one, wow, positive. Let me ask, what are the flavors of your next two? Are they positive or negative?
They're positive. It's an all
Okay, then
positive takeout.
I'll go with my small negative one,
Okay.
which I don't want to get into a long protracted discussion about it because I like the vibes that we have here. I want to acknowledge the EA microtransaction drama from
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of my main issue. Microtransactions are just something that exists. Like, unfortunately, like no matter what we think, they're just going to exist.
Yeah.
We're not putting those worms back in the can. I think the way that EA presented this game, where they made it more integral to gameplay and less about like Fortnite, for example. I was playing some Fortnite last night with some friends. Those microtransactions are not pay to win. They're just like aesthetic.
All cosmetic.
That's
Yeah.
okay to me. That's 100% fine. If that's what you want to do, I think it's predatory still because you're preying on children most of the time, but like whatever. But in college football, like if you really want to progress your coach to the extent of that, or if you don't want to have to grind as hard to make your road to glory player better, you kind of have to pay for it. And so they've
Yeah.
kind of walked that back a little bit in the current game, but I know that they're going to come back in the future. And I
Twice as
think it's
hard.
really disappointing, but I am encouraged by the way that all the content creators kind of united together and helped kind of rally the troops and at least get some of it walked back in this current game. So it's a negative, but also kind of a positive. I thought it was really cool to see. I haven't seen the internet overturn a decision like that since Tennessee tried to hire Greg Schiano
Yeah.
to be their football coach. So I
Yeah,
thought that
it
was
was
cool.
awesome. I agree 100% on that one, and I'm happy it happened at least for now, so we can enjoy what the game is supposed to be. But yes, I have a bad feeling it's going to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, and their statement was like live service plans for 2028. I'm like, great, or 2020 college
Here we
football
go.
28. So whatever.
My second one, I want to give a shout out to Caitlin Clark. First 40-point 10 assist game in WNBA history. Also broke the Indiana Fever's franchise record for points in a game with 45, the ninth highest scoring output in WNBA history. This really felt like that. She's obviously had some incredibly historic moments that she's had, in her time in the league so far. But this really felt like she looked around and said, I'm the best player on the court. I need to act like it tonight, and willed them the victory. And that's not a minimization of Kelsey Mitchell scoring 30 points at all last night. She led that charge at the beginning of the game. However, it was really cool to see her finally kind of blossom in that aspect of, I'm the best one here. Give me the ball, get out of my way, and we're going to make this happen. It was an incredible fourth quarter. Highly suggest go back and watch the highlights if you can. She was
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, not just offensively, but defensively. She had two steals in the fourth quarter as well, including one in the last 2 minutes. That was a huge momentum swing. Super, super proud of her, and really hope that becomes more of the norm. Obviously, not the points, but more of that kind of I'm going to take over this game output.
Yeah, incredibly impressive output. She's no Marina Mabry, but nobody is.
Who can
Um,
be?
who can be really besides her like bajillion sisters that also play basketball. I I love the game from Caitlin Clark. I do have to say I'm officially on kind of like hashtag watch for Caitlin's attitude on the court
Yeah.
a little bit. In a way that I have not been up until this point. Now I'm kind of like a little nervous about it, but it's fine. We can talk about that more at a later date. It was really good to see her just take over the game. Like I said, or like you said, not to give myself credit for what you just said, but I think that her just attitude on the basketball end of I'm the best player on the floor. I need to be taking and making these shots and really just dominating the pace of the game. Really encouraging to see. She's gonna have to do that a lot more if the Fever want to reach the heights that they want to reach. So that was really encouraging to see. Um, my second takeout. I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem Engage recently.
Yeah.
The new Fire Emblem that was announced and will be
Yeah.
coming out. Excuse me, good God. And I am a huge Fire Emblem fan. Really love the series. I I feel like, and I'm sure you are this way too. You have your games that you're always playing, but then you have games that you love, and you kind of like are cyclical a little bit with them. Like Stardew Valley is a great example of that for
Yep.
me, where
Socopian for
sometimes
me.
I'll be playing nothing but Stardew Valley. Currently, I haven't played it in like a couple months. Just I've been doing other stuff. I'm sure in like a couple weeks I'll fire it up, and then I'll get sucked back in. But the most recent full Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Engage, I had, but had like kind of like played for a bit, and then like something else came out, or I got distracted and never went back to it. And so recently, with the announcement of new Fire Emblem, I was like, I better finish this before it comes out. And I actually, it's weird. The game itself, the story is dog shit. I'm sorry, it's horrible. I just don't care about any of the characters. There's too many of them. They all look the same. It's too chaotic. The whole story is just it's truly like earlier when I was talking about fan service for the Spider-Man movie. This is fan service times 1,000 because it's like, hey, look, here's a bunch of Fire Emblem characters you've heard of. They're in this game too, which is just bizarre. But the gameplay itself is awesome, and I really enjoy that. And it's been fun getting back into Fire Emblem and playing Fire Emblem in anticipation of the new game. So I'm excited for that one to come out. But yeah, I've got my Switch 2 that Jesse so generously co-sponsored, and I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem on it lately.
I love the Switch too. A completely separate thing. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I think it's an awesome console. I think it is just like the Switch in the best ways of convenience. I like the bigger Joy Cons, but just the processing power, it just gives it that little more
Yeah,
oomph. And
smoother. Yeah.
yeah, it just works. All right, my last takeout is something that kind of has been going on recently with me, and I just I struggle in the era that we're in right now where we own nothing. We pay for everything, but we own nothing. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, I'm hoarding all of these different things, but physical media is dead. And
Yeah.
it's upsetting in a sense. But I ended up selling a thing that I had a PlayStation Portal and realized that it was collecting dust, and I was like, I don't have a purpose for this really. I got my new gaming room set up, and I've been playing on my Xbox far more than I have my PlayStation. My PlayStation is essentially a Spider-Man Insomniac machine at this point, and will
Hmm.
probably continue to be. But with that, I sold it and I decided I wanted to get myself a turntable. As you can see, I've had vinyls in the background of basically every episode that we've done of this podcast,
Yeah.
and I've always loved collecting them just for the aesthetic of them and having the album
Hmm.
artwork and just having it. But I haven't had an actual record player or turntable in years, and went ahead and took the money I got from my portal and I bought one. I bought an Audio Technica one, and just sitting and listening to an album the way that it was designed to be played just straight through.
It's good
You can't
shit.
skip it. You can't start song. I mean, you can, but it's a lot
Yeah.
harder
It's
to. And just
not precise.
listening to how it was supposed to be mastered and actually owning the music again is really cool. So this
Hmm.
last week or so, I've been really into playing a lot of the vinyl that I have and just reminding myself of these artists pour so much into what they do as a full product, and we are in such a this song, this song, this song, this song. And I love Spotify. I love singles. I love going through music that way and finding it. But something about just bringing it back to the basics has been a lot of fun, and it's nice that if for some reason I ever fall on hard times, I gotta cancel my Spotify subscription. I got music to listen to, right?
You're
It's
right.
right here.
I love owning a record player. Cheyenne has had one since before we lived together, and we have a lot of vinyls, and we get a couple every year for like we'll put them on our Christmas lists or whatever. And like there are times when I want to shuffle, I want to make a playlist, right?
Yeah,
I want to listen to different stuff, I want to jump around, but sometimes it's just so nice, especially I planned a date night for us on Wednesday this past week. I cooked dinner and then we went and did painting with a twist, which was a lot of fun. We hadn't done that before, and I came home a little bit earlier and started cooking, and I threw Evermore on the record player,
yeah.
and it's just like while doing like cooking, while cleaning, or just like it's really nice to just have like the vinyl in the background. It's playing, and just like you said, you're hearing the music the way it was meant to be heard. I love it. It's a great experience.
It makes me, looking at the liner notes and everything, and looking at who mastered it, makes me appreciate all the people that go into it. Obviously, we're gonna focus on the artist who's making the art, but
Yeah.
as far as the actual engineering goes, there's so much that goes into it. And shout out our friend Jack, who's in our fantasy football league, groomsman in my wedding. We've known him since high school, and that's a huge passion of his is engineering and mastering sound. But yeah, it's been such a fun experience, and it's definitely going to be something. It's an easy gift to give someone, right? It's
Yes.
they're $30 or so, $30 to $40
Mhm.
for a new sealed one, and you can be like, hey, birthday's coming up. You don't know what to get. I really like these albums this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my last one.
That's all we got.
All right, that's all she wrote. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hoping the sound is working better for everyone. As far as I can tell, it was going well, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be back sometime, hopefully next week. And got anything else for us, Ben?
No, yeah, we'll be back sometime next week. Probably not Thursday because I think I have something on Thursday. I'm at the point in my life where I need to just be better about keeping a calendar because I'm pretty sure I have committed to something on Thursday. But um, Yeah, I mean, this was the this might be the last pod before Spider-Man comes out.
Yeah.
Comes out on the 30th. We're 12 days away. Probably not, but we'll see. And yeah, I can't wait to next time we record have seen the Odyssey 3 more times. And yeah, Jesse and I are going to be playing some football together today, and we'll figure out. I know we always talk about it, but we will figure out a time to stream something together.
Yeah.
And yeah, just keep living life.
Sounds good. Peace out, y'all. We'll see you next week.